creates the future. The past creates the future. Do you understand? Do you understand? This is also true of lifetimes after lifetimes after lifetimes. We are lost in whatever we are doing, and time passes by. A master collects all the sins and go with him. That happens with every true master that comes. And before he goes, he calls all the disciples. Come on, give all your karma. I will take it with me. And I will pay with my body, with my life. Sacrifice. I sacrifice my light body so that everybody can get that. Hereafter I am going to be more and more in silence. But those souls who are intent on enlightenment will leave this planet with immense joy. That's the ultimate. It gives me immense joy to see, to know that we are on the threshold.
Can I make money if either I have no skill sets, I'm too old to get a job, or I just don't believe that I can make money?
If you believe that you can't make money, you won't make money. Okay. Then you have to take responsibility for the negativity. So you have to change your belief system. And the belief system it's not easy to change your belief system. Sometimes it is genetic. And you have inherited your thoughts not only from your own biology, but from your parents, great-great-grandparents. So you are not just thinking your thoughts, you are thinking of the thoughts of your father, mother, and then the great grandfather. Then they had somehow lived a life in poverty, and then you have inherited that. And this I call as soul genetics. I have videos made on soul genetics. Just as we inherited biological genes, then you have inherited also soul, so to say, soul genes. So you have to change your thoughts. So you have to first believe that you can do it. And if you cannot believe, then these sounds that you will use, like Shreem Brzee, the course is all about Shreem Brzee. Shreem Brzee will give you wealth consciousness. The sound itself has the ability to change your negativity to positivity. poverty to abundance and prosperity, because it's the sounds have the ability to change your mindset. Once your mindset is changed, then you will be disabled to think negative thoughts. So I will talk about Shreem and also about Brzee in the course. It will take a few hours for me to explain that. But it is enough. You don't have to even understand the dynamics of it or how it works. It is just like an aspirin. You take an aspirin and then your headache, is gone. You don't go and ask the pharmacist what is the ingredient in the aspirin, how it works. The sound is wealth itself. It's wealth consciousness itself. By saying it over and over and over again, and you have wealth consciousness. And you asked about skill sets. The skill sets will come, because once the wealth consciousness is there, then you will go and look for opportunities. Because now you don't have wealth consciousness, you don't even ask the question. Once you have the wealth consciousness, you will look around. There are opportunities everywhere. But then your focus is not on wealth, but on skepticism, on your own habit, and the habit is no, it's not all going to work. Part of the problem is we have been raised like that. Somebody joins a job, and then he already thinks about his retirement, and then the pension that he is going to get. There is no challenge in life except to go through a certain set reality. The course is called Removing the Mental Block. Everybody has a mental block. I asked a person, can you think of $100 billion? $100 million? He said, no, I can't. I can think maybe a few $1 million. But someone else cannot even think about a few $100,000. Most of them. So there is a mental block. I told Wayne Dyer, and he was so impressed with this concept, and he wrote a book and dedicated the book to me. He said, you cannot manifest that which you cannot conceive. You cannot manifest that which you cannot conceive. If you cannot conceive of $10,000 a month, you will never be able to make the money. Why? There is a mental block. I've been making only a couple of $1,000s a month, and how can I go and make $10,000? I don't have a skill set. So the mind puts a roadblock right there. So what do? So I taught Wayne Dyer a technique. I said, you can go and give a lecture from morning till evening. It will be a good lecture, and they will, clap and then say, great lecture, and then go away. But I told him what you need to teach is something which is very practical, and which is a technique that can convert your procreative energy into a creative energy. That's the sound that I gave him. Just by simply saying the sound on, moving it from your lower chakras to the pineal gland, and then visualize whatever you want to visualize, and that's how you manifest. So this is a technology. What we are here dealing with is just a technology. All that you need to do is do it like mechanically. You don't have to do anything. Just sit down and then move the energy, this particular technique that I gave to Wayne Dyer. And then move this to the third eye. So this is how that particular technique works. In general, what creates is the sound. The sound. So why does sound create? Because sound is intelligence. And that is my contribution to the world. To have come up with a definition, a mechanical definition of what intelligence is. Intelligence is just a sound wave that is capable of going and opening up the brain and enable you to conceive. Only when you conceive, you can deliver. If you can't conceive, then you are finished. So my job here is to enable people to conceive and then realize it on a biological, psychological, and at the soul level. And once that is done, then everything is completed.
Nearly 3 years after doing programs like Millionaire Yoga and Midbrain Miracle Method, both courses are about making money. I'm returning now to do more courses on money and the brain. So I'll be doing a few video clips for you on that. The title will be Money and the Brain. On the non-profit front, I've done well. I have about 100 Hope Centers in India. And on the profit front, I've done reasonably well, but not as much as I've done on the non-profit. I begin to think seriously now. That's the reason why I am back on the money track. If I have more money, like say Bill Gates, I could do a lot of charity. So this thinking got me to do these videos for you, so that together we can grow, understanding about the brain and the money. In the context of the non-profit, I defined poverty as a disease of the brain, and I had ambition to push the United Nations to accept the definition. The poverty brain has been well defined, even by some educationists who talk about how poverty affects the brain of the children. By poverty brain, I mean the negative brain, the negative thoughts that pushes you into mediocrity. And that is mainly the neocortex, or the rational brain, particularly the frontal lobe and the left brain. They are specialists in asking where, when, what, why, how. The WH words will stop not only the manifestation of money or manifestation of any good things. In order to be successful, the brain should not be centered in the neocortex, particularly in the frontal lobe, and in the left brain. They are needed subsequently, not primarily. Primarily, you need the old brain or the reptilian brain. My training in neuroscience is in a limited way from my graduate training at the University of Pittsburgh, where I was working with the brain of the mystics. And they knew, the Hindu yogis and siddhas, they knew more about the brain than our modern